it's Andrea from Prairie Sky DIY, your friendly neighborhood Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Manitoba. This month I've been focusing on coloring techniques, and this week we are going to be working with Stampin' blends. Today I'm just going to show you how you can use a combo pack, so two of the same color. I'm using Light Pool Party and Dark Pool Party on one stamp, and we're going to get some depth with just using those basic colors. So I've already got the elements of my card together. I've got our base and a piece of designer series paper, which is from the Dainty Designs free pack that's available with celebration until the end of February. So I've got our layer there. I'm just going to put it off to the side. I have a strip of basic white, and I'm just going to leave the entire strip because I am not sure how long I want to go yet. Not sure exactly where this card's going to take us. I have an idea, but we might diverge off the path. Oops, got a little bit of ink on there, but it's all good. So we're going to stamp straight down. This is the stamp from Best Day. Straight down, straight up. And then we're going to start with our lighter color. There's two ends to the blends, the writing end and the brush end. I usually prefer the finer point just because it lets me get a little bit more precise and into the detail just a little bit more. So we're just going to do, I prefer doing circles. The reason that I prefer doing circles is that the marker lines are a little bit more hidden. And when you're using the blends, you want to make sure that you're using Memento ink. It is really the best one to use with the alcohol markers. StazOn is also alcohol based, so it will bleed. StazOn is something that you want to use with non-porous surfaces, and the regular Stampin' Up! Ink works, but Memento has the crispest line, more crispest, I don't know, when you are coloring. So we're just going to do our whole image with the light. Now, one of the things that I love about using blends is that the more you layer the color, the darker it gets. So I'm just going to scrap piece here. So we've got layer one, and then if we do two layers, you can see it's getting a little bit darker. 3 layers, and then we'll just do 1, 2, 3, 4. So it does get darker with each application. So you really do get a lot, or you can get a lot of depth with just 1 or 2 colors. Also, I like to use it for a layer piece because it does bleed through to the other side. So this really isn't something that I would use for a 1-layer card. It's definitely something that you need to have a backer piece for. So we're just going to continue. And the alcohol markers, the ink dries super, super quick. So you don't even really need to worry too much about smudging. I think I'll keep the happy the way that it is for now. So then I want to keep my lighter color. So I'm just going to go ahead and layer another just on this ropey looking piece. I'm sure there's a cake decorating technique for it, or a cake decorating name for it. What it is, I have no idea. I've decorated cakes, but I'm not particularly good at it. Okay, so that is going to be where that's going to go. Then we're going to bring in our darker color, and it's the same. So 1, 2, with each subsequent layer, it does get darker. And then we're just going to go over the dots with our darker one. Alcohol markers can be intimidating, but really when you understand, or at least have a base understanding of how they work and how the colors blend together, they're really a lot of fun to play with and experiment with. So I'm just going to do a little bit darker on the top of our cake here. I'm just kind of over the design. Follow this line. There are several colors available with the Stampin' blends, and the neutrals are absolutely fantastic for all kinds of applications. They go from a very, very pale, sort of like a pinky color, to a very deep, dark, chocolatey brown, and they're great for anything that you need a neutral color for. I've used them for everything from flesh tones to fur to just about anything, really. All right, so if you do have any questions about blends, please post them down below and I will answer them. I might do a separate video. We'll see. But they are really a lot of fun, and the value for your money is really good too, because they do last a very long while. I'm just going to do the outline of our banner here. Keep the inside lighter. And then we're going to do our happy. Usually when you're doing blends, well, I prefer to go lighter color to darker color, especially if it's something where I'm going to be layering multiple colors. Like if I was coloring an animal, there's different tones with their fur. So I would start with the lightest and then kind of fill in to the darker, and then go over everything again with the lightest color just to bring it all together and make sure that there's no harsh lines. Now I know that I said I like to do circles, but in a smaller space, going over it with following the lines works well as well. You can't really see any of the marker lines here, but now where we've gone over our color a bit, I'm going to go over our outline again, just because I want it a little bit deeper than what it is right now. We'll go over. So if you've never tried Stampin' blends before, or any alcohol marker, I would recommend getting just even one set in your favorite color and try and experiment with them and see what you think. Okay, so I'm happy with that. Our cake for our purposes today is done. And now I'm just going to take, actually I'm going to do our brush end. So you can see the brush end is a lot more defined at the end. You don't want to push straight down, and you don't want to push too hard, because if you do, you will wreck the nub. I wasn't thinking one day and I colored one of the packages of faceted gems, because that's something else that you can do with your blends as well. You can color your embellishments and it works really, really well, and it only takes seconds to dry. But I wasn't thinking one day and I wrecked the end of my marker because I wasn't paying attention. So we're just going to go over, and you can see that it's adding a little bit more depth. Our darker color still looks darker, but it's just kind of bringing everything together here. And then for our happy birthday, I'm just going to go bring in a little bit more into the center so you can still see that outline. And I'm just going to hit a few spots on our letters here. I'm not going to do the whole letter because I still want to have a little bit of that definition. And then I'm gonna try something. I'm gonna do a little bit of modified fussy cutting here. See how it goes. When you're fussy cutting, if you move the paper, not the scissors, it usually works better. I think I'm going to dip down a little bit to the A a bit more. Fussy cutting is not my forte, but there are days when it just kind of works. I'm going to go down this. I was not planning to cut the entire thing out, but surprise. We're just going to go back up. Around our banner. All right. Yeah, totally unintended detour. I kind of like how it turned out. I'll go in a bit here. Better. All right, now we're going to put our card together. So put our markers off to the side. Oh, when you're storing your Stampin' blends, you want to make sure that they're stored flat so that the ink is dispersed equally. If you store them with one side or the other side, the ink is going to pool that way, and it might not cooperate well the next time you go to use it. So storing it flat works well. I've got, there are tape. There are containers from Stampin' Up! That you can store them in. I have a couple of them, and I also use just a bin from the dollar store because I like to have all of my colors at my disposal. I don't usually have a ton of room on my desk, so when I have my bin on my desk, it's really quick and easily accessible. And I'm going to pop this guy up onto some dimensionals. These are the mini dimensionals. These ones are actually left over from a crafting kit. If it was the bigger ones, I would use fewer. Come on. Dimensionals are fun to use just to add a little bit of extra height onto your project. There we go. And then we're just going to place our happy birthday right in the center of our card. This is a 10 fold. It's not a fold that I usually go to. For some reason, when I do my cards, I usually do a landscape, not a portrait card. But it's all good. Changing things up a little bit today. Yeah, we're going to use some black matte dots. And we're just going to kind of plop them around a little bit here and there. I like odd numbers when I'm crafting, so we'll do probably 5. I think that'll work. And there's our card. Easy peasy, one layer of color, or one package of blends, a little bit of a color layer there. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to pop them down below. And I'd also love it if you would pop on over to my email list as well. I've got a free gift for everybody who joins, and I send it out about weekly with all kinds of crafty inspiration. As always, thank you so much for watching. I truly appreciate your time, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. See you soon.